Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. So am I. We just made the greatest deal that can ever happen, and I'm really excited about that. Definitely experiencing new freedoms. Thank you. I knew we can do this, and now we can put everything behind us and move on with through the ascension process. That's the most important thing that we got going on right now. The dimensions are separating. I wish I could free up my hands a little, but I'm sure you could probably see all the excitement in my face right now. I'm really happy. So the ascension is ongoing. We are separating the dimensions, and it's not a physical separation. It's more. Hold on a second, guys. It's more of a your spirit body is your perception of your reality is bigger, right? So one way I can say this is very simple. um Imagine that you're the greatest chess player to ever live, Bobby Fischer, right? And he's playing against someone that just isn't that great, but he's still good, right? So you're moving pieces on the chessboard, and these pieces, if you those kind of perceptions where you'll see the organization and everything is just going to stack up in the way that we're hoping it would, and it's something that it's obviously just going to happen, right? So I always go back to this. There was a huge change in during COVID, for example, and what that did was allowed a lot of people to, instead of focusing on the exterior, it allowed them to focus on within, focus within in yourself, right? And perceive in that way, and get and have you sit down and get to know self, get to know yourself, right? And it just came at the perfect time. I was actually watching a video. He's a suspicious observer, and he does a lot of weather forecasting and stuff like that. So he'll show you, the gamma rays and the solar winds, and how the solar winds and the M flash and the X flashes throw a burst from the sun, and how that affects the magnetic field, etc. And I used to watch that every morning getting ready to go to work, and it was just so much fun. And I just happened to this time pop in and would see a video where he was making, I think the title was of him making an important announcement. And I resonated with that a lot because it happened around the time when it happened to me. And I know it wasn't a unique experience for myself. There's many other people there that don't have YouTube channels like mine or his that are experiencing this sort of internal you're no longer pursuing stuff out there. You want to get to know yourself a lot more rather than just put yourself out there for others to see. And that's going to be a big change, and it's going to be a huge um the the people that are going to get together based on this newfound sense of self is going to start growing, and you're going to see then the separation, which I'm mentioning, of then how the latter group of individuals that are not on that path, how they're just behaving, how they're, you could see them, just how their thinking process becomes repetitive and always is the same thing. And it seems like they're just gnawing away at this idea that you've overcome, and you're ready to move on to other things. You're ready to you're just waiting for the next thing to come around for you to embrace and accept for yourself, rather than continuing in the 3D platform, which is where most people are. So it's a great day, and I'm really excited. It wasn't even This is the best time to make the video. I don't know if I could get home and still have the time to go about saying what I want to say. But then again, yet it's still being said, right? And this is a perfect time for it. So on a galactic scale, we have Chloe. She's coming in, right? And what I'm saying is that when she gets here, she's going to pick up a batch of reptilians that are ready to leave the planet. And then I just can't wait for the moment. Actually, it's going to be probably, I'm saying a lot less than what I did before. But when she does come in and accomplishes that, then there's just going to be this. I can't wait. You're going to feel this elevation for yourself. And to everyone else around you that's not in the path of ascension, they're just going to think you're just you, right? They're not going to see that difference. It's not physically apparent, but you are the one that knows through your heart that there's an expansion going on for yourself. Ascension on this planet is an individual process. Dare I say, maybe there's already been individuals that are even further path of ascension than I am. And I wouldn't say at what level I think I might be in, or where I could be in the future, but it's something that it's a personal experience for yourself, and it's not something that's very easy to share. That's why I give you examples like the chessboard and Bobby Fischer, and just how much further you can plot and make your plan for the future, and then start stacking up in that way so that you can accomplish your freedom as a nation, or if it's a county, or if it's a town that's ascending, or just me and another group of individuals for ourselves that are going through this process. But it's very unique to you. It's tailored to you, right? It's based around your experiences and what you need to learn in life for you to then go on. I can't take my experiences and give it to you, and then you're going to go through your ascension, because you're not me, right? You've probably had your life experiences of places that you've had that are completely different, and yet that doesn't just cross over in that way. There are places on the universe where ascension does happen like that, but there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of strife, there's not a lot of congruency, right? You don't have a congruency, meaning maybe you could have your neighbors aren't all aligned in a way where you are mowing the lawn, you know it on a schedule. My turn is this week, this person's going to be the next week. If you're sharing a plot or a space, the the consensus is that you need to be all aligned in the same place so that you can all experience ascension roughly at the same time. So since we're not there when it comes to all being in the same with the same within the same, it's an easier word to say, we're not aligned in the same frequency, then we can't all experience it at the same time. It's an individual experience, and I'm expressing it an individual experience. And sometimes, maybe even like right now, I might just take a dip into the third dimension, right? It feels, you can tell then what the difference is like. And I have been around people where they would hang around me, or I'd spend some time with them, and you could quickly feel how they're uncomfortable because your frequency is bringing their frequency up, and they're just not ready. So you're going to naturally just push away from people that are just, they're not in alignment with you, and it's just going to cause strife. And you might work with people that just, they're not at your level of frequency, and that's quite all right. But one of you two has to be conscious of that. It's usually going to be you, because you can definitely plot out and see a lot more of where your situation is going when it comes to the places where you are, right? And 99% of the places where I go to, people just have a very, very 3D mentality, which doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be in that frequency if I don't want to. I can be within my own energy field and not necessarily participate too much in a third dimensional aspect, which happens. And it's been happening in the last few days, and it every single time it's just, it feels like I'm gonna come down with something. Like I really get sick, not just because of my empathic sensitivity, but it's just, well, it probably is, but it's an enhanced feeling of it's just a greater sense of coming down with a flu than mild symptoms or barely of any symptoms at all. It's just the gravity and the depth of that perception for me is 10 times stronger personally. But you would absolutely notice the difference. It's not hard to tell. Either way, I guess my excitement is more about when Chloe, our Syrian individual that we know, is gonna come around and pick up the reptilians and take them away, which is where I'm excited, and then everything will start stacking up a little better. I hope so. I'm really excited. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my video, and we'll tune in next time.